Are you ready to make your law firm a profit-generating machine that will free up your time and skyrocket your impact? With more than 2 decades of business growth experience and having proven that you can be successful while prioritizing your family and your impact, introducing the Profit with Law podcast. I am your host, the creator of the firm differentiator 10X Effect, Moshe Amsel. Hello and welcome to the Profit with Law podcast. I'm your host, Moshe Amsel, and today I have an exciting bonus episode for you. We took an excerpt from one of our previous Law Firm Growth Summit talks, and we took a clip of a ton of value and want to share that with you. Now, we're doing this because we want to give you a taste of what to expect at the Law Firm Growth Summit. At the time that you're listening to this, unless you're listening to it in the future, but when we release it, we're less than 2 weeks away from our annual Law Firm Growth Summit. It's a virtual conference for 3 days where we bring over 30 leaders, experts in the industry to really help you get all the information you need on what's working now, what are the strategies that you need to implement in your law firm to achieve success. I'm really excited about some changes we made this year. One of them is we actually split the topics into 3 areas. So we have a category based on your law firm size. We have a startup category that's for the new attorney or the solo who's been struggling in the 0 to 250K revenue range. And it's not a judgment on where you're at, but there's specific information that you need to be able to conquer that, to be able to jump from there to the next stage, which is our expansion phase. So we have a ton of really good topics for you in the startup phase to help you get going. Then we have the expansion phase. The expansion phase is when you're on that journey of expanding your law firm from 250K to 2 million in revenue. There's a lot that you need to learn in that phase, whether it's consistent marketing or team building, and all of the really cool things in between, like systems and processes and technology. And we have a great lineup of speakers for you to help you navigate that phase of growth. And then we've got the legacy creator phase. And the legacy creator phase is somebody who has figured out the day-to-day, how do I navigate consistent clients? How do I have a team that is able to produce the work? And now I'm in this place where maybe I'm worried about what's next, or maybe I want to focus on the culture in my firm, or maybe I want to set my sights on being a owner that is not necessarily working in the law firm. And we've got a really great lineup of speakers who have achieved way more than $2 million in their law firm, or they have some other area of expertise that's really going to help you in that legacy creator phase. So we've done this great job of lining up a massive slate of speakers, and guess what? Registration's free. It's virtual. It's free. Like, why would you not join us? I don't know. But all you need to do is go to lawfirmgrowthsummit.com/podcast, lawfirmgrowthsummit.com/podcast, and grab your free registration today and enjoy this teaser. Take care.
Cloud everything. Nowadays we have so many softwares, and so many of them were discussed during the conference so far, the summit, where your case management software, your client management, your CRM, all of that. It's so easy when you have it on the cloud. Look at what COVID did to the our day-to-day. You can't go to the office to go in a software that's in the computer in the office that you need a tech guy for. The cloud-based softwares are amazing. I use Practice Panther. I know Clio's here. My Case is here. They're all amazing softwares that you guys can use to really have all of your clients' information stored, your matters there. And when we were on the panel earlier, I talked about that. That was really something that has made everything so efficient. And it's been like that for us for a while. We've been using these softwares in my firm. And everyone's working from home. I mean, this allows me to work from anywhere and still always have my finger on the pulse of my practice. So that's the first one, is your client data management. So you figure out which one you want to use. For me, I also, and I'm sorry, these are the ones. The document management software is another way that I think it's so important to cloud it. You have to have your documents somewhere. So what I do, and that's always been how I've set things up, is I have folders already pre-made that I just, whenever I have a new client, it's just a matter of grabbing that from Dropbox, putting it into creating a new client folder, and dropping all of those folders in there. And then all of my forms are already there. And every document that we work on and save on the cloud. So everyone has access to the documents that are being created for each and every client. And you can use different platforms. There's Google Drive, there's OneDrive. What I love with Google Drive is, you can actually work on documents along with your colleagues. If you have VAs, if you have, assistants that are not physically in the office with you, especially with what's going on right now with COVID, it makes it easy to, have someone just pick up where you left off, and not having to email the document, and now they have to give you like 16 different versions of the same thing. It's one document, it's a working document, and you can see who edited what, and it's really great. And so clouding it is the first thing. The second thing is copy paste it. Copy paste it is huge for me, again, because I do not like to reinvent the wheel. I don't want to have to start over and over to do the same process that is already expected that's going to happen in the practice. So I'll explain what that means for me. So in my Dropbox, okay, I'm a personal injury attorney. That's what I've been doing. That's what I love to do. I have what I call my PI file demo folder. And I have, and when I actually practiced before, I used to practice family law along with PI. Now I cannot do those cases anymore. But I also had a family law demo folder. So what I did was I put every single document that I knew would be related to those cases that I would get. Now here and for PI and for family, I did the same, and they're just easily accessible. So we're not constantly having to figure out, okay, what do we need for this client and that client? So if you look here, I have a client profile folder that has the retainer agreements that have to go out, the HIPAA forms that have to be signed by the client, the personal injury intake form that needs to be filled out. If it's a slip and fall case, the questionnaire that has to go out is already there. The high-tech request for records is already there. So anytime we are starting a new PI case, it's a matter of just grabbing all of these folders, copying them and pasting them in a folder for that new client, and all of the documents that I'm going to need to use for that client are already right there for me to use. And so as you can see here, I have a correspondence folder, and the correspondence folder will have every single letter, from the representation letters that are going to go to the insurance companies to and you can't really see the full title, but I have my declination letter. Should I get to a point in the case where I realize that, this is not a client I'm going to be able to represent, either there's no insurance or whatever the case may be, the declination letter is in here. And we already have folders already pre-labeled so that when we get medical records, they go in this folder. Medical bills go in, the right folder. If we have to file a lawsuit, the pleadings folder expands, and so on and so forth. And that just takes a lot of hours out that you don't have to go look for, because we all use templates and we all use documents that we have prepared for past cases, but how much easier is it if you just have those documents already in one folder, so you're not like, oh my God, who did I send this for? I remember when I would have to think, okay, I know I filed a motion of whatever, and okay, who did I send it? And then I would have to go in the folder, find the motion, and then recreate it. Everything is already here, and it's not something you have to do yourself. You can get a VA to do this, okay, or your assistant, someone in the office who can do some of your admin stuff. So this is just an easy way to take some man hours out and have more efficiency. So the first one I said was to cloud it, right? The second one is to copy paste it. And now the next thing is to automate it. And so earlier we were talking about automation, and if you guys were in the on the main stage, we talked about different things that we can do to just, again, cut hours, become more efficient, and move faster, and be able to either bill more if you're doing the billable hours, or just recover more, and have less overhead. For me, automating has really cut my overhead. I'm really big on very low overhead. I've had my practice like this, from home and remote with all the virtual stuff for 12 years now. I tried having a physical office for 1 year, and I think I'm allergic to a physical office. This office that I'm in right now is in my home. I prefer working by the pool. I live in South Florida, so it's for those of you in the North, I'm sorry, I'm not rubbing it in your face, but it's really always nice. And for me, I went to law school to have a lifestyle, and that's why I call myself the laptop lifestyle lawyer. And that's what I help other lawyers gain, is lifestyle. And as much as we can, automate so we can make more money, I do it not only for more money, but also for a better lifestyle. So I'm not doing so much more work for the same return. Okay. So workflows, I mentioned, that is a great way to automate your practice. And so as you can see in here, I have a new slip and fall workflow. So if we get a slip and fall case, we have a workflow with triggers. And, this is my CRM system that I use. You can check in yours what kind of automation you have going on and use it. Because, a lot of times you're paying for this stuff, you have it, but you're just not using it. And you just don't take the time to create the workflow, and it makes all the difference. And so, if I have a new slip and fall case, this is what we apply. Treatment status and records request workflow that gets applied to cases after. So we have a new accident workflow, so that gives us the front end of the accident case. Once they're in treatment, we have another one that we apply, and so on and so forth. If you look for the third from the bottom, I even have a first day of the month workflow. So every first day of the month, we have a series of things that have to go out. So we have to post that have to be scheduled for social, birthday cards that have to go out to all of the birthday, or to all of our clients. We still do that. I'm still huge on handwritten cards to my clients. I have clients that I serviced from 10 years ago. They're still referring business to me because they get a birthday card and a Christmas card and all the cards in the mail every year. And so they always think about me. My law firm is really almost, I want to say at least a good 80% referral base. I do some social media, I do emails, and I do other things. But most of my cases, when I ask, how did you find me? Some people will say Google, some people will say, but it's really word of mouth. And it's great because it's just, I love all my clients. I really do. I love my clients. They have me have this lifestyle. And the fourth step is record it. So we said so far, the first one was to cloud it. The second one was to copy paste it. The third step that I have for you is to automate it. And lastly, record it. What do I mean by recording it? Okay, so you are constantly working on files. You're constantly doing things on your computer that you have to teach people who are helping you. So if you're going to have assistants helping you, do you want to just refer them somewhere where they can already see everything that you've done recorded, or do you want to explain it to them over and over? Why am I saying that? I found myself in a space at one point where I kept on having to change assistants. Like I couldn't find the right fit. And every time I finished training one person, she was gone. And then I had to train someone else. And I had to take the time to do that. And it was just basic things like, saving attachments to emails or where to put the faxes and what to do. And I decided, it makes no sense for me to do that. Let me just record all of my processes. When I'm working, I'm recording my screen. And so, this is just a screenshot of some of what I do is, like, for example, new clients and matters, how to put them in practice method. There's an entire video on that so that whoever comes to work for me, or if I have a VA that I'm wanting to train and have her or him do the work for me, I just send them to this folder that's on Dropbox. And I'm like, look, go get trained, figure out how to do it. And then I ask them, okay, so let's say you have emails come in the morning, what do you do? And then they tell me, and then it's like they train themselves. What do you do how do you scan documents into my system? They figure it out. PIP suits, what do we do with those? If someone has, bad insurance, like, I literally have cases that I look at the insurance company and I pretty much know that it's going to be an issue. And so I ask them to handle those differently. And I want them to know how to do that. And so all of those things, it's easy for me to just have people step into my shoes and do this work for me without me physically having to train and retrain or have someone in my office take the time to train someone. They can pretty much train themselves. So very important. And those to me are, in my practice, in my world, the things that I do to streamline things, to make my life easier for me to have a better lifestyle. Again, it's clouding it, because if I could be in Zimbabwe and I'm still running my law firm. Like, I want to be able to have access to everything at all times. So it's super important that everything is available to you on the cloud. There's no reason why you are, running a practice and that your files are only in your office or on your computer somewhere where no one else can help you. What if something happens, and you have to travel or whatever? Now that the kids are able to travel more often with me because they're all being, doing this remote learning, it's great, that I could take them with me. Before it was, their schooling was impeding on my lifestyle, not my office. So it's really important. So clouding it is important. Like I said, copy and pasting, having all of your files, your documents that you're going to use anyways, having them already there, ready for you to just use as you need them. And so what if you have letters or whatever that are sitting in a folder that you don't use? Sometimes you're not going to use a declination letter, but it's there so that if you had to use it, you just go in that person's file. The declination letter is ready for you. You write it down. If you write down just the person's address, their phone number, their email address or whatever, and then out this goes. And then, like I said, automating it. If you don't have a CRM system, or if you have one and you haven't checked out the automation, get workflows. Workflows are really, really, really easy. And, have, again, even stuff for your admin. It's not just the cases. The cases you can use workflows to manage, but what about your administrative stuff that needs to get done? It's just a really easy way. It's a reminder. The task automatically populates, so you don't say, oh my God, I really wanted to get, like I said, birthday cards out this month, but we're the 5th of the month and I forgot to do that on the 1st. So you do that. And then last but not least, record it. Record everything you do.
Thank you for tuning into the Profit with Law podcast. Your feedback is extremely valuable to us, as well as helping us reach more people with this valuable content. please leave us a rating and review in your favorite podcast directory. Join us again next time when we are back with even more strategies to profit with law.